What's up, everyone? Adonis Ultimate here. We came here today to Miami, Florida, specifically to visit Tate. He's right in that building, right up there. He can't see us. Say that backwards. We can't see him, but he can see us. Right up there.
Shout out.
Yeah.
You already had viewers.
No, not yet.
Oh shit, I thought it said one.
We got our signs out front. But yeah, guys, we're just out here protesting. Oh, yeah, let me show. Yeah, Florida State. Seminoles.
Gang, gotta represent, especially on the enemy turf.
Yep, this is Blaise. He's been, he has not been on the Adonis podcast yet, but y'all might remember him. He was on season 2 of the Tallahassee podcast quite a few times.
Bang, bang.
We did the Batman versus Superman episode, and we did the Generations one with Pete. We did a lot of episodes over that summer. It was a good summer.
That was a good summer, bro. And we had Pete on the podcast.
We did, yeah, we did. That was a good one. But yeah, we're just out here protesting because I was telling him earlier in the car, there's no evidence against the Tate brothers. They haven't done anything wrong, and yet they're sitting not just in a jail cell, they're sitting in a jail cell that is designed to make you go psychologically insane. And when we're at the point where the U.S. government can just point and jail you without a reason, without evidence, that is the start of a dictatorship. This is the beginning stages of a dictatorship. Y'all might not care. Maybe you're not Tate fans. Maybe you're busy jerking off to your video game. For whatever reason, maybe you don't care, but you should care. Number one, because this is unfair and unjust. Number two, even if you're not a Tate fan, if they did it to them, they can do it to you. You might be a fucking Democrat watching this right now. The minute you have an opinion that is against the interests of our corrupted government, they can jail you. They just did it. Why? My question is, why aren't there more people out here? There should be mass protests. We see mass protests for transgender rights and all this garbage. There should be mass protests to free the Tates. Because
Free the Tates.
What they're doing right now, holding them in that kind of facility, no evidence, no crime, no fair trial, that is not only unconstitutional and unjust, but also extremely illegal.
That would be what unconstitutional means, my friend. Highly illegal. They're weaponizing the process.
Dude.
The process is punishment.
America has become so corrupt.
Take it to the chin.
I would argue that America has become more corrupt than other countries because Romania let Tate go after 3 years. Even though the UK has an extradition warrant out for the Tates, Romania said no because, they had a deal. We're still doing an investigation. He hasn't done anything wrong. The U.S. just handed him over. So I would actually argue that the U.S. might be more corrupted than Romania and all these other corrupt countries. They're just better at hiding their shit.
Of course.
Yeah, America is just as, if not more corrupt than the rest of the world. They're just better at fucking hiding it.
They can look behind you. Basics right there. That was some great commentary, my boy. Before I ask some more questions, I want to post this link in the chat to get the viewership up. This way, when I answer some questions, there's more eyes on it. So everybody, give us 1 second to get a little bit more set up. But we're here.
We were talking about in the car earlier, Trump. Now, some people still support him. Some people don't support him. Now, McBride, who is Tate's lawyer, he went on a podcast and he said that a lot of people are going to start turning against the White House because without the manosphere, without Joe Rogan and the Tate brothers and Myron Gaines, the President Trump wouldn't even be sitting in the Oval Office right now. And when I saw they posted that video, I commented right away and I said, listen, I dropped all support I had for Trump the minute I heard the administration say that they're not going to get involved. They're not even going to get involved in this mess. That shouldn't even be a mess. This corrupt setup.
I'm trying to get my homie Amar to pull up. You see Amar on Telegram telling Blaise was asking for him. He's in Miami, homie.
Yeah.
We live. We out here.
You know, people often ask me if I'm Republican or Democrat. Obviously, I'm more Republican leaning, but I've also said that I'm a conservative before I'm a Republican, because Republican is just a political party. And all politics are corrupt, guys. Politicians just want your money. Look at Ron DeSantis. He doesn't actually care about you. He just tells you what you want to hear so that you'll vote for him, so that he can become president one day, even though he really shouldn't even consider running.
Right. Ron DeSantis will never be president. The United States has never had a president under 6 foot tall. Look it up. Sorry, homie. You can't be president either. I can be. Blaise, 2036. I might have to bump it up to 2028. Get my dog out if they play games. But we're getting them out as soon as next week, potentially. If not, we'll see him on that 59th day. I think that's going to be September 16th.
Yeah. The Tate should already be out by now, dude. Like,
Yeah,
they shouldn't even have been arrested in the first place.
Right.
Holy fuck. At the end of it, when it comes to Republican, Democrat, conservative, liberal, I want a president who upholds every single amendment in the Constitution. I don't think I can think of one president. Well, maybe the earlier ones like George Washington and Thomas Jefferson. But as society has progressed and as time has gone off, and as we have fallen further away from our traditional conservative values and fallen further away from God, I don't think I can name a single president in recent years that was 100% thoroughly all the way constitutional. We shouldn't even have this Republican Democrat bullshit, because at the end of the day, it's just another way to divide us. It's just another way for the government to divide us so that they can conquer us. It's another way for the government to distract us so they can spread their bullshit propaganda and control us like puppets. Uphold the Constitution. That should be the primary, most basic requirement. You know, it's like this relationship BS that's going around. People say it's hard to find a good partner because they want a partner that doesn't cheat. Well, having a partner that doesn't cheat is the bare minimum. If you're not cut out to do the bare minimum, you're not cut out for the job, bro. The bare minimum is to uphold and enforce a constitution, which means the second Donald Trump saw that the Tates were being arrested with no evidence, no proof, no charges, made up fucking reasons on the request of another country, he should have said, fuck no. Oh, but the extradition warrant, fuck the extradition. That's unconstitutional. They're American citizens. They haven't broken the fucking law. It is the bare minimum. As the president of the United States, or anyone in government, in power for that matter, to uphold and enforce the rights of the Constitution. And like I just said with the relationship example, if you can't do the bare minimum, then you don't deserve to be president of the United fucking States of America.
Tell them who you are.
What's up? I'm Adonis Ultimate. I'm the host of the Adonis, the very heavily Top G influenced Adonis podcast. I talk about a range of different topics, including politics, pop culture, life in general, how life as a man. My podcast would not be possible without the Tate brothers. Matter of fact, I don't know that I would even be here without the Tate brothers, because let me let you in on a little secret. About 2 years ago, I got suicidal, and I pulled myself out of that dark hole, and I listened to emergency meeting podcasts day after day after day, every single day, back to back to back, joined the real world, forced myself out of that deep, dark hole, out of that suicidal mentality. I've used the real world to promote my podcast, to help grow my podcast. It doesn't look like it because Instagram keeps banning my shit. That's how you know you're doing something right, when you're so powerful that they have to keep banning your account and they won't even give you a reason why. That's how you know you're on the right fucking path. So, I'm just out here doing my thing. I've got very parallel views to Tate and Myron and all these manosphere dudes because I've caught the end of the Me Too movement. I have been through similar situations where girls have accused me of shit just because I didn't have power or authority over me, and it's all fucking bullshit. Take a look around, guys. Let's take a look really quick at these buildings in Miami. Men built this shit. Men got on their hands and knees and worked in direct sunlight day after day, night after night, working 12, 13, 14, 15-hour days to build this beautiful city. And all these women are going, yeah, fuck the patriarchy. While they're dancing on a stage that was built by men. While they're sleeping in hotel rooms built by men. While they're shopping for food at a grocery store that was built by men. You give a bitch a hammer and a nail and tell her to go build a building like one of these. She will be crying her eyes out within the first 15 minutes because women are worthless. They were not put on this earth to build shit. They were put on this earth to give us babies. They were put on this earth to take care of and nurture the family. They were not put on here to build shit. Men are the ones who are supposed to build shit. And you know something else? I really related to the Tate brothers because I've always had these views. And once I started speaking about these views and I started the podcast and I got more vocal about it, more people tried to suppress me and my opinions, and more people tried to silence me. And people were basically like, look around you. Everyone disagrees with you. Surely you're wrong. I was cocky enough or stupid enough to stand in that room like a meme and say, yes, you are all wrong and I am right. And then once I actually started paying attention to Andrew and Tristan and the emergency meetings, and I realized that he said basically the same shit that I was saying, but in different words. That's how I knew that I wasn't alone. Because guys, it doesn't make sense. Women say we don't need men because apparently all men are rapists and pedophiles. Bitch, if you don't have men in your life, who's gonna build shit? Look at that, look at that, look at that right there. Who's gonna build that shit without men? Women built that? No, the fuck they didn't. No, the fuck they didn't. No, they didn't build fucking shit. Even going back as far as the Bible, man always has authority over women. It's not the other way around. I'm glad to be in an area where there's a lot of other Tate supporters as well. Because quite honestly, spending so much time in the liberal, fucked up woke city of Tallahassee, you don't really get to see a lot of Tate supporters. It's kind of just a bunch of losers drinking all day. And while they're doing drugs in their frat house, they're telling you that you have mental problems and you're the one with the problem. You're the one that needs to improve your life. Meanwhile, they have no discipline. They can't even get out of bed in the morning and make their fucking bed and get to work on time. But you guys want to say about my life? Okay. Yeah, it is no surprise that I don't take y'all cunts seriously. Bro, Tate literally had a contingency plan for this exact moment. Go and watch the Jack Neal podcast. 3-hour interview. The reason why the Tates are in jail right now is actually because they were about to win. I'm not going to get into the details of this. If you want the details of this, go watch the Jack Neal podcast. Go watch his latest interview with Andrew Tate. But Tate was basically about to win, and if they let him win, the Romanian government owes him $1 billion. The media has to admit that they were wrong and that they were lying. Everyone has to admit that Tate was right all along, that Tate was innocent all along. And for almost half a decade now, these corrupt governments around the world have been trying to imprison him, not because he's a human trafficker, but because they were trying to silence him because he was telling the truth. And telling the truth is dangerous in a world full of lies. The UK system, the Romania system, the United States system, our current system, not our traditional constitutional one, but our current one, it is all built upon the foundation of complete lies. And what happens when you expose those lies, the entire system falls apart. That's why, what was her name, Nancy, or whoever the fuck the secretary is that got fired from the Trump administration? That's why she said we can't release the Epstein files, because then the whole system will collapse. Good! The system's not supposed to run us anyway. We, the people, are in charge. The government officials represent us, not the other way around. We don't represent them. They don't have authority over us. We have authority over them. We pay us with our tax dollars. Anything less is a dictatorship, which we're already seeing the beginnings of, because like I said in the beginning of the stream, if they can just point at the Tate brothers and say, jail, for no reason, or for politically motivated reasons, that is the start of a dictatorship. We might not look like it, but like I said, U.S. is just as corrupt, if not more corrupt than the rest of the world. They're just really good at hiding it. And like they're really good at hiding the fact that they're a bunch of corrupt pedophile snakes, they're also really good at hiding the fact that this is a dictatorship. Not even so much the fact that they're really good at hiding it, it's that people are stupid because they're glued to nonsense on their phone. They don't know how to resist the slave mind. I was trying to explain this to someone the other day, and she wouldn't even listen to me because she's as stubborn as I am. But she doesn't have the same viewpoints on the world that I do. And I was trying to explain to her, you have basically built your own cage inside your mind. I'm trying to break you out of this cage. I'm fucking ripping off the bars, and you want to be so glued to your opinions that you want to take super glue and glue the bars back on and trap yourself in the prison cell for life. Guys, wake up. The answers are saying you right there in your face. It is right there standing there in your face. I'm a normal guy who figured out that we're in the beginning stages of a fucking dictatorship. Why am I the only one realizing this? How come the people at home watching this, they don't realize this? As I was saying, Andrew, maybe you want to back me up on this.
What's going on?
There's a lot of people who are happy that the Tates are in prison. Hypocritically, though, no one from the Epstein files has been even investigated. And the point I'm trying to get to is that it's not that people necessarily don't care that they're being treated unfairly. It's that people hate the Tates so much, they don't even consider the fact that, oh shit, this could one day happen to me.
Yeah, they dehumanize them.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
They view them as animals.
Dude, someone on Twitter was even saying that the Tates currently are being treated worse than pigs.
Yeah, they're treating them like animals.
And I really
They
hope...
have no human rights right now.
Yeah, I really hope that their lawyer has been able to get in contact with them. Because it was like 1 or 2 days straight, he put out a video about it recently. They closed the jail. He was denied access to see his clients.
Yeah, they're depriving his rights on top of depriving his rights.
Yeah.
They're having their cake and eating it too.
Exactly. Unbelievable, though.
It's fucked up.
But we should be rioting over this shit.
It should be a riot, but people think it can never be them.
Yeah, exactly. What they're trying to do right now is they're trying to make an example out of the Tates.
Yeah, they want to make an example.
They're also doing this to scare people like you and me, so that when I get on my podcast and I talk about this, they say, hey, look what we did to your hero Tate. If you don't shut the fuck up, this is going to happen to you next. They're trying to silence not just the Tates, they're trying to silence all of us who have been influenced by him and who also think like him.
So yeah, that sign you're holding, it says Andrew Tate is a hero, totally innocent, who has saved American Blaise from suicides.
And I can attest that I was one of those people that he saved.
Yes, sir.
Indirectly, with his podcast, with his motivation, with his real world. I actually want to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it on my stream, but if you want me to say it on yours too.
Yeah, I mean, real quick, give us a glimpse and then go into detail on your live. But give us a glimpse of why this sign is true.
Well, I fell into a really dark hole because I was basically abandoned by my family. I'm not going to get into that right now. I've gotten into that before. It's on my podcast. Y'all can check that out if you really give a fuck. And I basically became so overwhelmed and depressed and angry that I genuinely considered killing myself. I was literally about to do it. And there were many different factors I went into why I didn't kill myself. So, this is why I don't fully put the blame on Andrew. Like, he didn't solely save me. He did indirectly save me with his motivation and his podcast and his powerful voice. You know, when he says, when you shoot a man with your last bullet and he stands there unfazed. I can't even do the voice right.
You were pretty good, bro.
But there are many different factors that went into why I didn't commit my suicide. There was family. There was the fact that my mom died during giving childbirth and how disappointed she would be that I basically took away her final gift to me.
So hold on, let's rewind that in case the viewership went over their head there. You said that your mom gave her life for you.
Yeah, because my mom died. It's unclear exactly how she died or what the cause of death, but she either died during childbirth or around that time. So it was either during or right afterwards. She died
mama, bro.
Basically immediately after I was born. So in a sense, her death was her final gift to me so that I could live. So for me to kill myself at 19, 20, 21 years old, that would be like an insult to her and her legacy.
But the Matrix really had you on the ropes.
And it still does, but I fight every single day. And you know what? If it wasn't for the Tate brothers, I just realized this. I was about to say, I don't know that I necessarily would be dead if it wasn't for the Tate brothers. I can attest to you and tell you that with the amount of influence in the world, with all the brain rot on TikTok, and the fact that I grew up in the corrupted FSU community, I probably would be a faggot right now. I probably would not be a smart individual. I probably would not be as respectable as I am today. Mm-hmm. But considering the fact that the Matrix still heavily attacks me,
you would have fell victim of the Me Too movement.
Exactly.
If it wasn't for people like Andrew, a lot of people would have fell into the programming.
And dude, like there are people that I care about right now who won't talk to me because of the things I'm talking about right now on this live stream.
They would love you.
Exactly. So actually, if it wasn't for Andrew and Tristian Tate, I probably would be dead right now because the Matrix is still attacking me very tenaciously every single day. And it's because of men like Andrew and Tristian leading by example that has encouraged me to keep fighting every day, that has reminded me that I'm not the only one, that has reminded me that I'm not alone in this, that has reminded me that the definition of being a man is standing for what you believe in, even when the entire fucking world is against you. Even when the entire world tells you you're wrong, you gotta be like that one meme on Instagram where the man stands in a room in a circle full of people and he points at them and he says, yes, you are all wrong. Because as a man, you have to be willing to die for what you believe in.
Okay.
If you're unwilling to die for what you believe in, you're just another blob taking up useless space on this pathetic planet. And if you're not willing to die for your opinions and for what you truly believe in as a man, then your voice does not deserve to be heard.
Well said, brother. So real quick, I wanna bring it to the next topic. You're kind of a younger generation, Gen Z or something that they would call you. So you said that if Tate is not released, if Tate is extradited by Rubio and Trump, that you're immediately going to drop support for the MAGA party.
Oh, dude, I've already dropped support for the MAGA party. The second that Trump's secretary got on that stage and she said the Trump administration isn't going to get involved, I shit you not, I wrote fuck Trump, posted it to my story, and threw out my MAGA hat. Because what kind of president sits in the Oval Office and lets innocent men rot in not just any jail cell, but solitary confinement, the place where they put the worst of the worst criminals. These are fucking demons that they put in these cells. Yeah. And they put two innocent men in there who have not been convicted of any crimes, haven't been guilty of any crimes. they've been proven innocent. I would argue to my grave that they've been proven innocent, because if they were guilty of anything, they'd be hiding in their mansion like cowards, like the rest of Hollywood does. Hollywood is a satanic cult of pedophiles being protected by people like Epstein, and the people behind the scenes, we don't even know who they are. They do that intentionally so that, yeah, because you can't destroy, you know that saying, people can't destroy what they don't know about? That's why we don't know who truly runs this country. That's why we don't truly know who runs Hollywood. That's why Tate even said in the Jack Neal podcast, he doesn't even know who exactly is behind all of this. He just knows who their henchmen are. The police, the fucking prosecutor, he is aware that they are all puppets, and that we still don't know who the actual puppet master is, and we probably will never find out.
Well said, well said. So let me ask you, when you were still in Tallahassee, because that's a college town, I know the students aren't there right now, but were there other younger folks that were sharing your sentiment? Like, hey, I'm so disappointed in Vance and Trump. I don't know if I'm gonna vote for Vance. I might look at another option. Like, are you feeling like the neoconservative is dying, and y'all feeling like Gen Z might want to re-platform if Trump goes the wrong way?
Well, the funny thing about Tallahassee is, despite the fact that Florida is a mostly red-pilled city, Tallahassee is actually quite liberal. And so there are plenty of Trump haters.
You mean state? I know you meant state. I don't want the haters to get on to you. Florida's a red-pilled state.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. But yeah, so a lot of the Trump haters in Tallahassee, they hate Trump, but not for the reasons I do. A lot of people still have Trump derangement syndrome, where they hate him not because he currently is not upholding the Constitution by letting two innocent men who helped him get in the Oval Office rot in a jail cell in Miami, but they hate Trump because the media told him to. They hate Trump because the media told him Trump is a rapist and he did all these things that he never fucking did. He literally sued the woman who accused him and won, and they still say that Trump is guilty.
In the court of public opinion, these liberals still want to say this and that.
Exactly, because even if you win in the court of law, there's still the court of public opinion.
So it's slander.
Exactly.
They want to assassinate his
Exactly.
character.
So I don't support Trump anymore, because not only did Andrew and Tristian Tate and Myron Gaines and Joe Rogan and all these other red-pilled masculine men influence the youth to vote for Trump and get Trump in the Oval Office, so not only does Trump owe the Tates a gigantic fucking thank you, it is also completely unconstitutional for the president. I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, I don't care who the fuck is in office. If you're going to sit in the Oval Office and let two innocent men who've never been convicted of anything, you're going to let them sit and rot upon the request of an enemy country, because we fought the UK 250 years ago for this country's freedom, and now America bends over backwards for them. Explain that bullshit to me. Explain that bullshit to me. Why is America being a puppet for the country that we literally fought and died for? We might as well hand this country right back to them.
Last I checked, there's an area in America called New England, right? So I
Yeah,
think the old one might not be that good.
There is. It's honestly pathetic that we fought to be rid of England and then named everything after shit that's in England. New England, New York, New Jersey. Shouldn't we be independent and unique? But we're not here to give a history lesson. We're here to talk about the Tates. And we're here to talk about how corrupt the system is and how corrupt the country is.
So do you think the Matrix is cracked right now? Would you say that's true?
I don't know, dude.
Are we kicking the door in?
There's definitely a lot of people trying. I think this situation here is actually waking more people up, because more people are seeing how they're being unfairly treated. Bro, they haven't even gotten a fair trial, bro. Even the worst of the worst, a serial killer gets a free trial. These men who have never been convicted of anything. Bro, why is it that little Nax X gets to prance around Hollywood and encourage men to be gay and be retarded? But then Tate, he tells you to go to the fucking gym, wake up, go to the gym, get to work, put the work in, and they say Tate's the bad guy. We've got Lil Nax X trying to convince teenage boys to be gay, we've got half of Hollywood is trying to convince the American youth, from 20-year-olds to high schoolers to little fucking kids, that they're the wrong fucking gender. But somehow, Tate, who tells you to own your shit like a man, and work for your shit like a man and go to the gym and put in the work and put in the blood, sweat, and tears like a man, they tell you he's the fucking bad guy.
They all need somebody to blame, right?
And you know, this relates back to they always try to silence the real good guys. I use this example in my podcast in one of my favorite childhood movies, The Lion King. Scar's the real bad guy, and because he's a real bad guy with his corrupt hyenas and his corrupt system, he tries to make Simba look like the villain because he knows that he's the real bad guy. He knows that he's the dictator, so he tries to make the hero look like the villain. They didn't just do this in a fictional Disney movie. They did this with Charlie Kirk. They did this with Jesus Christ. They did this with Gandhi, with Martin Luther King Jr. They've done this anytime that there is someone, like I said earlier, anytime that there is someone trying to shine a light on the truth, the bad guys will always try to make the good guy look like the bad guy, and they will always try to kill you and keep you down, whatever it is, because once you expose the truth, their entire foundation collapses because their foundation is built upon nothing but lie after lie after lie. It's all built on lies. So they can't have people like you and me and the Tates coming out here to the streets of Miami and exposing the truth about how corrupt the world is and about how corrupt the system is. Because once people start waking up, thank God for them that people aren't waking up as fast as they should be. Because if we were all awake, if we were all in the known, if we all had the same mentality, if we weren't all distracted by useless shit on our phones and our PlayStations and our Xboxes, this country would have a revolution. It is literally in the Constitution that we are to overthrow our government if it becomes corrupt. I know I'm repeating myself again, but this is heavily important. When they can point at the Tate brothers and put them in jail without even a fair trial, we officially live in the beginning stages of a dictatorship. It's time to take back our country. Back in the 1700s, we threw tea in the Boston Harbor because 3% tax is too much. Now, people can't afford rent, people can't afford groceries, and people just sit on their ass and play video games all day. What the fuck are we doing? Wake the fuck up, people. It's time for change. Like, when is enough going to be enough? Hasn't the government taken enough? Haven't they installed enough fuck cameras or done enough spying and used their police to harass us enough? Haven't they taken enough from us? Haven't they tortured us enough? They put our heroes in jail.
A real patriot right here. Speaking from heart.
Yep.
Keep going. Keep telling the truth, bro.
That's why I can't support Trump anymore. Trump isn't patriotic enough. The fact that he didn't jump out of his seat the minute he heard that the Tate brothers were in jail shows that he is unfit to be our president. Because when a president can't do the bare minimum, which is to uphold the Constitution, then that president is a fraud.
What about the argument that you would say, yes, he's the executive branch, you're talking about the judicial branch?
Explain that. Go a little bit more deeper.
What I mean is Trump is not doing anything because he can't do anything. Because right now, that's the judicial branch playing through. And the argument against what I just said is, yes, but the executive's job is to enforce. The judicial's job is to process and execute. But the executive's job is ultimately to enforce our laws. So therefore, the executive should be able to checks and balances the judicial in this manner, but he's not. Then other people are saying, no, the executive can't do anything at the moment. The judicial. So some people say one way, some people say the other way. What would you say to those arguments?
Well, I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not an expert on law, but I will tell you this. Trump won't even speak on the matter. He didn't even have the balls to go up on stage and speak on the matter. He sent his little fucking secretary to do that shit. Like, at the very least, let's just pretend that Trump can't do anything, which seems very unlikely. I could be completely wrong, but it sounds very unlikely considering the fact that he's our fucking president. Considering the fact, like, you're telling me he can go kidnap the president of Venezuela and put him in a fucking detention center, but he can't do anything about American citizens being extradited to another country when they've not even done anything wrong? When was the last time the Tates were even in the UK? I think they haven't been back since they were kids, if I'm not mistaken. I do know for a fact that they don't go there on a regular basis. When they left Romania, they came to the US. They didn't go to the fucking UK. When was the last time they were even in the UK? Can anyone tell me that? Trump, at the very least, should have the balls to say, we're doing everything we can. At least go on that podium instead of sending your little secretary to do it and be like, the Tates have helped me, the Tates helped me get into office, the Tates have had a heavy influence on the masculine youth. We're doing everything we can. Trump talks against the system all the time. He talks against the judicial system all the time. But when it comes to the men who helped him get in fucking office, he just sits back like a little bitch and does nothing? Fuck no, fuck that. Trump has officially lost his spine. I don't know what's going on with Trump. And I still stand on everything that I said about Trump in the past, because anyone who follows me know that I was a huge Trump supporter up until very recently. I still don't believe that he's guilty of any of the crimes they tried to charge him for. I don't believe in this Trump derangement syndrome BS. But Trump has lost his spine. When a man doesn't have a backbone, when a man can't speak, do the bare minimum, can't even speak his opinion, he doesn't deserve shit.
What would you say Trump needs to do right now?
Right now, he needs to get involved and he needs to fight this. Because his secretary specifically said that the Trump administration wasn't getting involved. You know what that tells me? It's not telling me that they can't get involved. It's telling me that they're choosing not to get involved. They need to get involved right now. They need to do everything in their fucking power to get those tapes out of there right now.
What if the optics, there's two things. Let's go with this one. What if the optics that they're saying they don't want to get it, they're saying publicly they don't want to get involved, the back end they may be, or they're saying, you know what, we want Tates to win this on its merits alone. That way, no one else can say that they were actually guilty and they got a free pass. What would you say to that?
I still don't agree with that, because as the president, it's his job to protect the American citizens. Tristian and Andrew Tate are American citizens. They shouldn't have to fight this alone. Trump has been through similar shit like they have. I would imagine that he would be able to relate to their situation and he would jump on their case. But right now, he's more focused on other shit. He's more focused on the war, and he doesn't even know what the fuck he's doing, by the way. When he's tweeting one thing on Twitter today, and then tomorrow he tweets something completely different, you don't know what the fuck you're doing, dude.
Yeah. Now, there's one thing I agree with you on, absolutely. I think the administration should get involved, and I think we should basically, I personally want to see the UK tariffed into oblivion, saying, all our trade is over, we're done, we're not doing it, you're doing this to an American citizen, we are not interested. That may be an extreme case, but ultimately saying the UK doesn't get to play with the first world anymore, it's going to act like a third world dictator. That's my personal opinion.
I'd agree with you on that. I mean, considering the fact that the UK will arrest you over a tweet, but they actually have rapists and murderers and all kinds of criminals running the streets. The thing with America is, it is not any less corrupt than the rest of the world. It might actually be more corrupt than the rest of the world. They're just good at hiding it. Name another country that has a fucking island where they traffic kids. Now, as far as Trump goes, I would probably give him a little bit more leeway if he was at least putting in the effort. Because, like I said, guys, I'm not a lawyer. I know a lot of laws, but I don't know all the laws. I don't have a law degree, so I could be wrong on a couple things. But pay attention to the wording. The Trump administration did not say we can't get involved. They said we won't get involved.
Yeah.
And Trump didn't even have the balls to speak on the matter himself. He sent his little bitch secretary to do it.
To be fair, I'll give you that. Rubio is the Secretary of State, ultimately. He is the cabinet member that deals with it.
Oh, it wasn't Rubio. It was some blonde bitch.
Oh,
I don't even know her name. Really? It was some blonde girl.
Really, wasn't Rubio?
Yeah, it was some blonde girl that went on the podium.
Was it the news secretary?
The new one. Yep, it was the new one. And I'm like,
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, the press secretary.
Yeah, I'm like, bro.
I get it.
Tate advocated for you. Like, Tate could have focused on other topics and whatnot, and he could have ignored.
Remembering that and now thinking about that in that context, absolutely, it is insulting. Your press secretary, the only person in your administration that responds to it is the press secretary when asked by a member of the mainstream press. It is insulting. You're right. It's the same thing. It makes you think. It does make you think. Charlie Kirk was killed, and it was absolutely horrible. What if Charlie Kirk was put in prison? What if Charlie Kirk was put in prison? Right? And instead of this, would the administration have acted the same way?
You know, I listened to Nick Fuentes, and he did an episode on this Tate situation, and he pointed out that while he's not Democratic, I'm not Democratic, liberals are crazy, he did point out that they take care of their people. Charlie Kirk has been shot under the Trump administration. We're going to war right now under the Trump administration, and he can't even tell us why we're at war. The Tates are in jail under the Trump administration. Trump is letting his people down. This is not the Trump that we once had in 2016. The 2016 version of Trump would have bitch slapped the Trump of today, because the matter of fact is the Trump that we have in office right now is not a man, he's a bitch.
So it's safe to say you do not accept the current state of affairs.
No, I don't.
And you think there's a lot of other people your age bracket that share that sentiment?
I believe so, I do.
So
yeah, they need to get their shit together. I voted for Trump because he's a businessman, he's great at what he does, and I have followed Trump not just as a president back in 2016, but also as a businessman. I've read his books. I've watched The Apprentice, both the movie and the show. And I've been a fan of this dude since I was a fucking kid. Trump, yes. Even though most of my family was totally against him, I was still a fan of him because I saw him and I saw his work ethic. And I said, no, fuck you guys. I don't know what it is about me, but ever since I was a fucking kid, I've always been the one in the room who's been able to see the truth clearly for what it is and also call it out. My family would be sitting in the room watching the news. Oh, Trump's a bad president. Why? Because the news said so. Vote for Obama instead. Why are we voting for Obama? Because we need to make him the first black president. Well, that's a stupid fucking reason to vote for somebody. You're racist. No, I'm not racist. I have common sense. People call me racist all the time because they expect black people to act like these hood dudes with their pants sagging down and weed dripping from their mouth and acting like bums when you're well put together like I am. Or if you are well put together, like say a black lawyer with a suit and tie, whatever, they get offended because you're insulting them. You're basically making them look bad. And it's also them who separate us, who black this, black this. How many times have you heard Diddy talk about the black community? Normal black people like myself, we don't give a fuck about skin color. We might make a racist joke on a podcast every now and then, but we're not actually racist people. We don't have this victim mentality of, that person doesn't like me, he must be racist. It's only losers, the complete degenerate losers that have that victim mentality of the world is out to get them. In reality, they just need to get their own shit together. I'll tell you personally, I'm not a fan of most rap music because they just mumble into a mic, dude. There's no fucking talent. Ice Spice wouldn't be popular if she kept her clothes on. There are a few, I'll give you the name of 3 rap artists that I like.
Mr. Plenty?
Andrew Tate, yeah. One is the late Rollin Styles. I briefly knew him, and he actually puts talent and work. You can actually hear the words that he's saying. The other 2 that I'll recommend is Dax and Tom McDonald. Dax is a little bit on the goofy side, but he has some really good songs.
Dax and Tom McDonald.
Absolutely. And Tom McDonald, they speak the ultimate truth. And Dax, if you listen to Dax's song Gotham is one of my favorite songs right now because Dax talks about in that song, he basically uses Gotham as a metaphor for the system and how corrupt it is. And I listen to the lyrics of like Dax and Tom McDonald songs, and I'm like, bro, I agree with every fucking word they're saying. Yeah, even if you don't support the Tate brothers, you need to fucking protest this because if they can do it to the Tates, they can do it to us. Doesn't matter if you're Republican, Democrat. Listen, there's some lunatics out there who believe that you're a woman just because you throw on a wig. But let's be realistic here. The Republican and Democrat parties don't actually exist. They are just mental cages created by, psyoped by the government to divide us so that they can then conquer us, so that they can get to the state that we are at today. Because if we were all on the same side, America would not even be close to what it is today. Tate wouldn't be in jail right now. Charlie Kirk would probably still be alive. I can attest to the real world, because all these people want to say that the real world is a scam. I'm a student in the real world. I can attest to the fact that the real world works, because I have my own podcast, and I signed up for the real world and joined the content creation campus so that I could learn the skills to further my podcast, so that I can get my message out to more people. And it fucking worked. My page went viral. The reason why I'm unrecognizable and you haven't heard of my podcast yet is because Instagram and TikTok keep banning my account. They don't even give me a reason why. As soon as I get a lot of followers, as soon as I hit 1,000, 2,000 followers, as soon as Every time I open my Instagram, I'm seeing new followers and comments and likes. They ban my shit and they won't even tell me why.
You go against the grain.
That's the real reason why. That is the real reason why they keep banning my shit. Like, that's how you know Top G is right. Because all the shit that I've been through, he's spoken about it as well. I've been through similar shit on a more like street level, while he's like more of an Avengers level. But I've been through similar shit, and I think about the emergency meetings and the interviews he's done with Jack Neo and Patrick McDamon and all these different people, and I'm like, holy shit, Andrew was fucking right. Matter of fact, I don't think I can recall one time he was ever fucking wrong.
Honestly, me neither. It's pretty crazy how he's always right.
Like, genuinely, like, we all have our own opinions. There's definitely a couple things life-wise that I don't agree with him. Like, for example, I got different opinions when it comes to dating than Andrew does. But this isn't, like, we're not talking about a dating problem. We're talking about exactly personal preference.
You're talking
when
about
it comes
speaking facts of the matter.
You don't have to like everything somebody says.
exactly, and I'm like a Tate super fan. Doesn't mean I agree with everything he says, because once you become such a super fan that you agree with absolutely anything anyone tells you, then you're just a sheep. You're basically their bitch.
Yeah. Let me ask you this though: is Top G a superhero?
I think he's earned the title.
And what happens to all superheroes in the end?
Well, depends.
They win.
Sometimes they win. In the end, they always win. Well, yeah, because even Iron Man, even though he sacrificed himself, technically he won.
Heroes always win in the end.
Good always triumphs over evil.
Joe McBride, Andrew Tate's one of Andrew Tate's lawyers, has not been able to see his client in the past 4 days.
It's been 4 days now?
It's been 4 days.
I was asking about that earlier because last I checked, it had been 2 days and they closed the jail or whatever. And I was wondering, like, are the Tates alive? Has he seen the Tates? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
That is unconstitutional. Once again, completely unconstitutional. We're literally... Why have we not overthrown the government? They're literally breaking the Constitution right in front of our very eyes. And no one gives a shit. Like, there should be fucking riots. You're telling me people will riot because you misgender them? Because you call a man because he has testicles, but he wants to be a woman, so they start a fucking riot, but they won't riot because they unconstitutionally close the jail and keep 2 innocent men in solitary confinement, and they won't even let the lawyer go and see his client.
So your freedoms can get trampled on in this country, but you can use the women's restroom if you want to.
Yeah, explain that shit to me. This is why when people come at me with the opposing opinions, why I don't even listen to them, because I'm like, bitch, you don't even got ground to stay on. You don't even got water to swim in. You're a fucking dumbass. Because the same people who disagree with me are the same people who will tell you that a man can identify as a woman and then go into a woman's bathroom and treat a little girl.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. But ultimately, the greater point is you have to work. You have to struggle. You have to go to hardship. It should be 18 hours a day at work. You should get up early. You should be training. You should be studying. You should be working. You should be eating healthy. You should be having relationships in your community and with your family all day. Every day of your waking hour of your day should be spent productively. And then you rest and God day on Sunday. But you need hardship. That's what makes you a man. That's what makes you able to be resilient and overcome things. It sounds like people think it's guilty until proven innocent now. It's insane.
How does that even work? Because listen, I've been accused of shit myself. I had a whole era last year where the cops were trying to get me in fucking jail, and women were accusing me of sexual crimes, and I went through a bunch of shit. Not because I actually did anything wrong, but because they were trying to shut me up.
Because of what you said in your podcast.
Because of what I said on my
podcast. Shit up to try to weaponize the law against you.
That's exactly what they did, yes. And you know, when it happened to me, I thought about Andrew. And I thought about the fact, hey, if this happened to Andrew and it happened to me, it can happen to you too. Please, go listen to my podcast. I talked all about this in depth. They literally tried to jail me for shit that I never fucking did.
Literally got you fired from your job?
They literally got me fired from my job. They tried to break into my house. Someone straight up tried to kill me with their fucking car. And despite the fact that I let people alone and like just sat in my room and did my podcast, people still try to say that I was a bad guy. How are you gonna attack me and go out of your way to fucking track me down to my house, to my job,
well,
track down who my friends are?
Let me steer the point that I interpret from what you're thinking. If they can do that to you, a 21-year-old, basically community college kid, who was just making a podcast for fun to impress his friends, You know what I mean? And maybe it would grow, but it was really for you and for fun to share your ideas. So if you were just getting punished by that by your own community for speaking your ideas, and you're just on a small local level, and your house got broken into, you got fired, you got accused of things that never happened, and no offense, I mean, you're like 5'9", you're 21 at the time years old. Andrew Tate is a mega global icon. So if it can happen to you, imagine what he's really going through.
Yeah, because he's going, like I said, Andrew Tate is like on Avengers level, and I'm like street level. Because, and Tate and Tristan have spoken about this in one of their emergency meetings. They spoke about some Christian guy that the media won't talk about it. He's in jail for a crime that he never did because he spoke too powerfully. If it's happened to me, I'm sure it happens to other people. You just don't hear about it because we're on a smaller scale. You hear about the Tate brothers because they're the most famous people in the fucking world right now. Andrew Tate at one point was the most Googled man on the planet. You hear about them all the time. People like myself, you don't really hear about it because I was just locally famous. I wasn't statewide famous or globally famous or countrywide famous. And I'm sure this has happened to other people like me in other parts of the world.
Tallahassee, pretty famous, dude. I remember being out there with you in Tallahassee, getting stopped by every sorority girl who wanted to take a picture. Oh my God, you're Adonis. I saw you on TikTok. You were so known. And how quickly they turned on you over some bullshit when it was, at one point, we couldn't go to recess or go out at Florida State without everybody stopping us and wanting a picture, wanting your Snapchat, wanting your TikTok, wanting to show love, wanting the clout, because we do live in like that attention economy. Everybody wanted to say, oh, look, I'm with Adonis. Just like when Andrew is, out doing his thing, people want to say, oh, this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened. People want to drift off of his name. And it's fucked up. It's mad old. It was already squashed. And now they see the opportunity to bring it back again.
Yeah.
It's wrong.
I don't think that people are going to fall for it this time because I think enough people have woken up from the Romania case that now pretty much everyone's going, yeah, this is bullshit. Like when the Romania case happened and people didn't really know what was going on, yeah, people probably were like, what was going on? Is he innocent? Is he guilty? I don't really know. Now, people are like, yeah, okay, this is bullshit. Matter of fact, I haven't even met a single person that has actually confirmed that they believe that this is true. The one person that I spoke to who disagrees with me on the Tate case, she is not a fan of the Tate brothers. She never said that they were guilty. She just said, I don't care. She just said, I don't care about the Tate brothers. I don't care if they're in jail or not.
Isn't that fucked up too, though, that people are apathetic and ambivalent towards abuse of rights?
It is.
But people wanted to crucify Michael Vick, not saying that he did something that was right. Obviously, he was fighting dogs. But not to say that we shouldn't be sad about dogs, but people were so outraged publicly. PETA, these organizations, these hefty fines on Michael Vick. This is just the example that came to my head because they were like, oh, the dogs, these innocent dogs, these innocent dogs, these innocent dogs. What about an American, an innocent American? They treat Andrew like he's an animal. They treat him like he's an animal, like he's dehumanized. They've removed the humanity from the situation, and these are the people who want to stand up the most for human rights. These are the people who basically invented human rights, but now want to deprive them. It's not cool. You can't pick and choose how to apply humanity. We're all human.
They can't silence all of us.
Say what?
They can't silence all of us. I'm going to end my stream because my hands are getting full. But, hey, y'all, go follow the Adonis podcast. Free Top G.
Right?
We back out tomorrow in the 13th.